So yesterday we ran this thing and I couldn't get the dipstick down into the block to check for oil because it was actually jammed up with something that was yellow. I don't know what this was all about right there. If you see me touching it with the tip of the stick right there, I don't know what that was about. So we drilled it out, we cut it shorter, we drilled it off. What I cut off of the tube, we actually cut out of this, but it's still not going down all the way. I don't know what's, I know this is going to sound stupid, but I don't know what's going, there we go. There. So just like that. But there's no oil in it. Don't worry about the shavings, I'm pretty sure that's from me drilling it. So what we're going to do is we're going to put some oil into this. We're going to try to refire it again. So we did rev it quite loud last time. You look like oil. Yep, you're oil. Oh, 5W20. I don't think so. That one says 10W30. Let's use that one. Well, this is only half full, so it looks like it's going to be half 10W and half 5W20. Just kind of whatever I got here. It's not good enough to go buy new stuff for. So let's get this all in there. In the hole. That's it. In the hole. No, don't overflow. And then we'll be right back. So we got some oil in it now, but this oil filter doesn't feel right. I think this seal is messed up. I don't actually have any Toyota Camry oil filters, which is kind of weird for me not to have stuff like that. I just did a quick look, so I'm probably going to have to buy one. So it might leak around the oil filter again, but it doesn't even, like when you tighten it down, it doesn't feel right. Like you can hear the metal hitting. So I'm not sure what that's about. But let's try to fire her up again and see if she sounds any better, and maybe see if we have any oil pressure. Try the starter. I guess you turn on fuel pump. Sound right. It really doesn't. It sounds like the timing's off, to be honest. But I guess it's not blowing up, so that's a good start. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to try to see if I have my timing light. I think I may have lent it out. Check timing on this, because if I'm doing all this effort to put this thing back in, I don't want it to be blowing up. That's coming from the engine. I think that's coming from the flywheel. I think this engine's okay, guys. Turns out it wasn't timing. I forgot to plug in the map. I think it's hitting somewhere here. I think it's just this messed up timing cover that's making all that ticking noise. We're gonna find out because I'm gonna run it. So now that we got this thing running, it is making noise, but I'm pretty sure it's the flywheel hitting some of this metal steel, so I'm not super worried about it. Now that we got it running and we got the engine bolted down and we got everything in there, is that supposed to be on the engine? No, I think that's okay. I think that's a spare one. What we got to do now is put all the suspension into it, put the axles into it, get it brakes, get a shifter in it, because this is actually designed for W body, so it might just be easier to pull this one right out and put a Camry one in, and get this thing ready to be stored. What we're going to do is basically get the engine in there, get it all set up for winter, and then we're going to put a Ziploc baggie and some stuff like that over top of that, cover this, and then shove this thing outside, maybe even take the computer out of it for the winter. Not really sure. But let's get this thing going. We're getting some spindles going. Guys, I've been labeling my spindles. And I'm going to tell you right now, what a difference. Oh, I'm just going to put that there because it fell off. But I've been labeling them, so this makes it so much easier to be able to swap these things in and out. So I got 2 passengers. We're going to put this one on the car, and then we're going to go find another driver. Wasn't really paying attention and grabbed 2 passengers. So let's get all the spindles and struts into this thing, and then hopefully we can get this thing out of the shop like today maybe. We're going to have Tucker help us. So Tucker is a local driver. Okay, let's pull all these off, Tucker. Use the gun to pull them off. And Tucker's more of a van guy, but we won't really look down on him for that today, will we? He's been doing pretty good. Camera's right behind you there, bud. We're going to put some anti-seize on these actually. So Tucker's been doing really good in the actual minivans. He's been running stock vans, but some of the shows he runs against trucks. How many times have you beat trucks now?
Every time but one.
Every time but one. But I did get a hold of Tucker once inside the derby ring, and I had a pretty aggressive Camry, and he was in a minivan. I'll see if I can find that footage and throw it up. It's from Bolton. Okay, let's pull off this shitty tie rod, and then we'll go get a good tie rod. Okay, so we got this in, we got that in. Let's do the axle now. Tracy, jam that axle in and shove it in the strut, and then I'll get the bolts for the spindle. And then, actually, you know what? I picked the wrong size because I thought it was going to be bent, but nothing seems to be bent. This might actually be all a good part.
So take it back out. That bolt back in.
Just take that top bolt out. Okay, grab that impact. The little one, throw the 22 on there. Okay, take this bolt apart, and then we'll jam her in there, and I'll go find an axle nut. Go in?
Yeah.
Beautiful! Beautiful! Okay, tighten that up. Yep. Try going the other way. Yeah. Okay, and then we need that inch in the yellow socket. We'll tighten up the center nut. So there you go. We got this side back together. That light looks a little bright in the camera. I'm sorry. We're going to head over to the other side and do the exact same damn thing. Okay, put her on there. Toyotas, man, they're like designed to come apart and go together.
Oh, jeez.
You gotta put the axle in the hole there, buddy. You just gotta slide it in the hole. Okay, line up the axle. Line up the spindle. Okay. I think we need 3/4 outside. So I was just about to pull this shifter out and put a Camry shifter in, which I think I even got off the shelf. Yeah, oh, it's already inside there. I already put the gray area Camry shifter in there. This is a gray area shifter as well, but it just has a W body end on it. So I was going to do that, and then I thought to myself, then my shifter is going to be sitting outside in the snow all winter, and it's probably going to get all rusted up and seized up and out in the weather. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to put that battery box into the car. We're going to take this post out, and then that's about it. I think we're going to put some tires on it, and we're going to probably leave the gas tank in it. We're just going to cover it all up pretty good with some floor mats so the water doesn't get into it. And then we're going to put some tires onto it, and we're going to take this out because this, maybe do this thing right here and cover up the engine. Maybe try to find a hood to throw on it. Maybe if it's not even the right hood, it doesn't really bother me. And then I think that's going to be this car stored as of right now. So let's get the battery box in and get this shifter out, get the other shifter out, get some tires on it, and we'll go from there. Well, I left this thing overnight and it leaked out all this oil. Don't really know where it's coming from, but I definitely don't like it. So let's see where it's coming from. Oh, I think I found the culprit. Looks to be a hole in the oil pan. That would explain why there was no oil in here. So, why is there a hole in the oil pan? Honestly, guys, I don't really want to deal with this. I'm having a pretty shitty day, so don't overly want to deal with this. What I'm thinking about doing is just leaving myself a note on the engine saying no oil, or oil pan, something like that. Covering up the headers, putting tires on this, and dumping this thing outside, because I am not in the mood for this today. So let's do that. We got her outside, we got her tucked away. It's actually in the original spot where that one was parked. So we have the engine all covered up, we have a tarp double layered with a floor mat, with a tire over top of the header. We are going to cover the computer here within the next day or so, and the gas tank, and I'm going to pull this battery out, because this is actually a good battery. Doesn't need to be sitting in there over the winter. But we got it outside, we got it positioned. This is just going to be a stock car for next year, so I just finally want to get it done, and it's kind of shitty that we got to take the Illuminati apart, but guys, I was never going to do anything with it, and we got to save stuff for bigger projects.